Hi, everyone. My name is Cameron, and I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy throughout the coronavirus situation. I'm going live today because I would like to read you all a couple of stories. Okay? Is that all right? I hope that's all right. So, I have two stories today. I hope everyone has heard of the Berenstain Bears before. If not, the stories are pretty great, and you will see why in a moment. So, if everybody's ready, I would like to start with the first story. Title of it is The Berenstain Bears. The Berenstain Bears is Trouble with Money by Stan and Jane Berenstain. Brother Bear and Sister Bear knew quite a lot about the ways of bear country. They knew where the most beautiful wildflowers grew, they knew where the most beautiful wild flowers grew. They knew where the wild berries were thickest and juiciest. They knew the best spot for watching sunrises and sunsets. They knew where all the best honey trees were. They even knew a very special place where you could almost always see a rainbow from a secret space behind the waterfall. But there were some things they didn't know very much about. One of the things Brother and Sister Bear didn't understand very well was money. They knew money was fun to have and even more fun to spend. And whenever they got some, as a present, or for doing a chore for a neighbor, or for no reason at all from Grizzly Gramps, who tended to spoil them, or from Papa Bear, who spoiled them even more, they ran as fast as their legs could carry them to the Bear Country Mall and spent it for honeycomb on a stick, a balsa wood glider that did loops, a tiny little mouth organ that only played 3 notes. But they never bought anything sensible, and they hardly ever saved. Once in a while, Sister put money in her piggy bank, but she usually shook it out again before it had a chance to cool off from her hot little hand. Brother didn't even have a piggy bank. Mama was becoming concerned about the Cubs' carefree spendthrift way with money. I think Brother and Sister should have a regular allowance, she said one evening when she and Papa were working on the family books. An allowance? Said Papa. Yes, so they can learn to use money sensibly. You have to save, to plan ahead. Oh no, said Papa. They're much too young for that sort of thing. Let them enjoy themselves. They'll have to worry about money soon enough when they're grown-ups, he added with a sigh. But it was Papa who first lost patience with their carelessness about money. It happened one day when the Cubs had been at a mall spending some pennies a neighbor had given them for walking her dog. That was when they saw a new video game. It was called Astro Bear, and it looked very exciting. A video game at the mall, Papa shouted. You must think I'm made of money. The Cubs thought no such thing, and when they pictured it, it seemed very strange. Mama could see that they were puzzled, and she explained, made of money is just a figure of speech, my dears. That's when the Cubs realized that the situation was serious, because Papa Bear only used figures of speech when he was upset. You must think money grows on trees, he shouted. Another figure of speech. Video games indeed, he continued, becoming more and more upset. There was no such thing as video games when I was a cub. Why, I didn't know what money was until I was almost grown. Precisely, my dear, interrupted Mama. And that's why this must be a very good time to start Brother and Sister on a regular allowance. So they can absolutely not, roared Papa, knocking over a chair. They must earn their money. That's what life is about. Working, earning money, saving for a rainy day. The Cubs knew how really serious the situation must be. Papa had used 3 figures of speech and knocked over a chair. They decided right then and there to mend their careless spendthrift ways. It turned out that the Cubs were very good at earning money once they set their minds to it. First, they gathered wild flowers from those special places they knew about. Then they made them into bouquets and sold them by the side of the road. Business was very good. They gathered those fat, juicy wild berries and sold them door to door. Business was very, very good. Brother and sister were turning out to be even better at making money than they had been at spending it. They organized guided tours of the Bears country's finest beauty spots. Sister's piggy bank was jammed full. They started a very successful pet minding service. Brother had to borrow Mama's sugar bowl to keep the extra money in. At first, Papa was very impressed and pleased. But when the Cubs started to sell maps showing the locations of all the best honey trees, Papa began to have doubts. "Those honey trees are a family secret," he complained. "The Cubs don't seem to understand that some things are more important than money. They've gone from caring too little about money to caring too much. Though why, just look at them. They're turning into greedy, selfish little missers right before our eyes," he continued. He pointed at the Cubs, who did indeed look like little missers greedily counting their money. "Cubs," said Papa in his sternest voice, "we're going to have another talk." But before he could start his speech, the Cubs took all the money they had earned selling flowers and berries, doing chores, minding pets, and selling honey tree maps, and dumped it on his lap. "Here, Papa," said Brother. "This is for you." "That's right," said Sister. "We thought if we made some money for you, you wouldn't have to worry about it so much. We hope it's enough." Papa was so startled and so embarrassed at having been so wrong about them that he was speechless. "Well, that's very generous," said Mama. "It's quite a sum of money, and I know Papa appreciates it. But I have what may be a better idea. Papa does worry about money, of course. Most mamas and papas do from time to time. But what Papa is really worried about is you. He wants to be sure you understand that there's more to know about money than how to spend it." "You know what I think," said Papa. "I think we should start Brother and Sister on a regular allowance so they can learn to use money sensibly, to save, to plan ahead." "An excellent idea," said Mama, smiling. "But what about the money we earned?" asked the Cubs. "You earned it and it's yours," said Mama. "What I suggest is that we take it down to the mall and put it in the Bear Country Bank." "Good suggestion," said Papa. "That money can be your nest egg." "Oh dear," cried the Cubs together. "Another figure of speech." "And a very appropriate one," said Mama. She explained that the nest egg is the one the farmer leaves in the nest to hatch another chick. When you put the money in the bank, it hatches interest. "Interest?" asked the Cubs, puzzled. "The bank will pay you for leaving your money there. That's called interest." That day, the Bear family went to the bank and opened an account for the Cubs. It happened that the bank was right next to the video arcade. "Say, that looks interesting," said Papa when he saw the Astro Bear game. "Let's give it a try." So the Bear family gave Astro Bear a try. Papa ended up with the lowest score. You know, he said, we didn't have video games when I was a cub. Will you give me another chance at this one sometime? Anytime at all, said Brother and Sister Bear, giving their papa a great big hug. The end. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that story very much because learning how to control money is very important, but you can talk to your mom and dad about that later. But for now, we'll move on to the next and last story. This one is another Berenstain Bears story. It's the Berenstain Bears and the truth. Uh-oh. Seems like the Cubs are figuring out ways to tell the truth when something bad happens. Let's see how this goes. All right. The Berenstain Bears and the truth. It was a lazy sort of day in bear country. The air was so still that the leaves on the big tree house where the bear family lived were hardly rustling. Except in the beehive, where the bees are always busy. Nothing much seemed to be happening. It was the sort of day that sometimes leads to mischief. Inside the treehouse, Brother and Sister Bear were sitting around, not doing anything in particular. Brother was holding his soccer ball. He'd become interested in soccer and had been outside practicing his free kicks. Sister was relaxing in an easy chair, thinking about what to do next. Neither Papa nor Mama Bear was around. Papa was in his shop working on some furniture, and Mama was out shopping. I know what, said Sister. Let's go gather some wild blackberries. Brother thought about that. No, he said, wild blackberries have too many thorns, and besides, the seeds get stuck in your teeth. Well then, said Sister, let's go out and twist each other up on the swing and see who gets dizziest. Brother thought about that. Nope, he said, that's silly. And besides, we did that yesterday. Sister became irritated and impatient with her brother. My goodness, she complained, you don't want to do anything. All you want to do is sit there and hug that soccer ball. I think you must be in love with that soccer ball. I am not, protested Brother, but I'll tell you something. I bet I can dribble this ball past you. Brother was a pretty good soccer player and a very good dribbler. But so was Sister. The only one who saw what happened next, besides the Cubs, was a mockingbird who was perched on a twig outside an open window. Brother faced Sister. The ball was on the floor between them. First, Brother moved the ball with his right foot, then with his left, trying to trick Sister out of position. Then, quick as a flash, he gave the ball a sharp kick with his right. It almost worked, but Sister was fast too. She reached out with her knee and blocked the ball, which bounced against a bookshelf, against a chair, against a footstool, and into Mama's favorite lamp, which fell to the floor with a crash. The mockingbird let out a screech and got out of there as fast as its wings could carry it. As it flew away, it saw Mama Bear returning from the market. As it flew away, it saw Mama Bear returning from the marketplace. Now the bear family had some house rules, just as any other family has. One was no eating in bed. Another was no tracking mud on the clean floors. And another was no ball playing in the house. What to do? What to do? Brother looked at sister, and sister looked at brother. They both looked at the broken lamp, and they both listened in horror as Mama came up the front steps and into the house. All Brother had time to do before Mama came into the room was roll the ball behind Papa's chair. "My lamp," said Mama. "My best lamp. What happened?" she asked, looking into her cubs' eyes. "Tell me about it." The cubs looked into Mama's eyes, then at each other, and then they began to tell one of the biggest whoppers that has ever been told in bear country. A whopper is another word for a lie. "It was a bird," began Brother. "Yes," added Sister, "a big purple bird with yellow feet." And great wingtip and green wingtips," added Brother. "And funny looking red feathers sticking out of its head," said Sister as a finishing touch. As most lies do, the purple bird whopper got bigger and bigger and bigger. "Yes," continued the cubs, "and it flew in that window, zoomed around the room, and knocked over the lamp." As Mama Bear was looking at the broken lamp with a sad expression on her face, Papa Bear came in from his shop. The cubs began to tell him the story of the big bird that flew in the window and broke the lamp. It was harder to tell it the second time. For one thing, they couldn't quite remember how they had told it the first time. "You got me confused," said Papa. "Was it a purple bird with green wingtips and yellow feet, or a yellow bird with purple wingtips and green feet? Or was it a white bird with black spots, like that soccer ball behind my easy chair?" But the thing that really made it hard the second time was how very sad Mama looked as she picked up the pieces of the broken lamp. "Mama, we're really sorry about the lamp," said Brother. "Oh yes," said Sister, picking up the last piece and putting it in the dustpan. Oh, said Mama, "I'm not worried about the lamp. We can always get another lamp, or we can glue this one back together. What I'm sad about is the thought that maybe, just maybe, my cubs whom I've always trusted aren't telling me the truth. And trust is not something you can put back together again." Both cubs started to talk at once. "It wasn't a bird," said Sister. "It was a soccer ball. And it was all my fault. And it was all my fault," shouted Brother. It was just as much my fault," shouted Sister. But they were both shouted down by the phone, which rang loudly. It was Grizzly Gran, inviting the Bear family for a Sunday visit. "Hello, Gran," said Mama. "Oh, everything is just fine here in the treehouse. How's everything with you?" "But Mama," protested Sister after Mama hung up the phone. "You told Gran that everything is fine. That everything is fine here, and that isn't really the truth." "Oh, but it is," answered Mama. "We've got two fine cubs who have just learned a very important lesson about telling the truth. And what could be finer than that? Now, let's help Papa glue the lamp back together." Nobody really expects cubs to be perfect, and from time to time, Brother and Sister did forget the rules. Brother ate honey in the bed a couple of times, and one time Sister tracked a little mud on the clean floor. And once or twice, Brother and Sister started to play ball in the house before they remembered not to. But they never, ever again told a whopper, because trust is one thing you cannot put back together once it's broken. The end. All right, everyone. Those are all the stories I have today. I hope you enjoyed them very much. So please keep safe during this pandemic. And just remember to wash your hands, stay 6 feet away from people, and please never forget, we will get through this together. Bye-bye.